Now that the Premier League season is over and it's time for transfers, this is transfer season. Here we hear all the transfer gossips and you get excited, you can get underwhelmed. Lots of things can happen during the transfer window. I mean, you hear that your team is linked to, your club is linked to a big player, an Mbappe, a Bellingham for Liverpool, and then they end up going to Madrid. It's annoying. But yeah, it's transfer season. This is the time for you to dream and dream up different scenarios. And today, that's what we've come to talk about today. We've come to talk about, we're looking at I'm going to pick 6 Premier League teams, and we're going to talk about which position they need to strengthen during this off-season. Okay? During the off-season, this break, what do they need to strengthen? What positions do they need to strengthen? You're welcome. This is another episode of Osas Talks Football. This is a football channel where we talk about, well, football, the Premier League and other leagues occasionally. Alright, you're welcome to yet another video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, as this is a new channel. Thank you and gracias. Alright, so the Premier League has ended. Manchester City are champions. As now qualified for the Champions League. Manchester United qualified for the Champions League. Newcastle Champions League. Liverpool Europa. Brighton Europa. Chelsea and Spurs and nowhere to be seen. Alright, now I'm going to pick 6 teams. I'm going to pick City. I'm going to pick Arsenal. I'm picking Manchester United, Newcastle, Liverpool, and Chelsea. I might do Spurs later, but that'll be at the end. Okay, so let's start. What do Manchester City need? What do they need? They are the team that just won the treble, of course. They just won the Premier League. They won the FA Cup and Champions League, the big one. So it seems redundant to say that team needs improvement, but they do need improvement. I feel like if there's any position, they are well stocked in probably defense. Laporte is there in reserve. They have John Stones, they have Akanji, they have Ake, they have Ruben Diaz, they have Walker. Even though I'm hearing rumors that Walker might leave, but I expect them to do some business there. Also in midfield, Gundogan, we're hearing that he might leave. Bernardo Silva might leave. I'm hearing they are arranging deals for Kovacic and they're interested in Rice. So that's a nice idea, but I feel like the position that is my preference. Manchester City are a very nice team, a very wonderful team to watch. But I think that since Sane left that team, and to a lesser extent Sterling, they've lacked incision on the wings. Guardiola has replaced his wingers with players who are the wing, from these speedy wingers to playmakers like the likes of Foden, the likes of Grealish, the likes of Mahrez. They are nice players, but they are not really explosive. And I feel like to further exploit Erling Haaland, to make him even better, they would need some wingers. So I have here written wingers. Manchester City, if I were in charge of signings for them, I would recommend wingers. Wingers. Yes, that should be the position. Wingers. Pure wingers who will hug the touchline, dribble, beat your man, and chip in with some goals like this. Sterling and Sane. I have always talked about that team, that 2017-18 team. That team, I fell in love with that team. With the width that was provided by Sterling and Sane on the flanks, they caused devastation to right and left backs all over the country. So for Manchester City, winger. For Arsenal have a nice squad, even though they would need probably an upgrade on holding, a better defender. Okay, if Tierney is leaving, they will need a new left back. And in midfield, of course, they are linked with Rice. They need upgrade in midfield. But I feel like there's a position that Arsenal need. They need a striker. Now, is it as pressing as the midfield? Not really. But I think Gabriel Jesus offers a lot of things. He offers, he can hold up play. He brings others into play. He's very nice player. A player who can link, do lots of function, press, very adaptable, does a lot of things. But he's not really a clinical 9. A 9 that is clinical, that can finish off chances. They need that option. Somebody who can finish off chances. They create chances, just finish them off. They need their own Erling Haaland. Somebody who may not be as linky or as good as linking about like Gabriel Jesus, but can finish off the chances. So for us now, they need a striker. If it's a Vlahovic, if it's Osimhen, somebody who can finish off chances, who is a reliable source of goals, a reliable source of 25 to 30 goals this season, or 20 to 30 goals this season. That kind of striker who is clinical. I think that's the need for us now. For Manchester United, it's the same boat. They need a striker. They badly need a striker. Manchester United are so reliant on Rashford and to a later extent Fernandes for goals. Like, aside from Rashford and Fernandes, which other player in the Manchester United front line is a guaranteed source of goals? Not really. There isn't. You cannot. Casemiro has tried, but he will give you like 5 to 10 goals this season. Who else? Eriksen is not the player he once was. Sancho has regressed from his Dortmund days. Anthony, he's just mid. I don't really rate him that highly. Okay, Anthony. He's just, to me, mid. Okay. If they are retaining Mason Greenwood, that's a topic for another day. But if they are retaining Mason Greenwood, they still need a 9. Ideally, they would love to go for Harry Kane. I think bringing Harry Kane and adding him to this Manchester squad would be wonderful for them, because Kane is a player who, look at Spurs. Okay, they don't have a supplier, in quotes, that really supplies it. He scores about 30 goals. He's a player who makes other players around him better. He's a player who facilitates play, but also finishes it. Okay, he starts and then punctuates the sentences of goals. So he's such a wonderful player. Add him to this Manchester squad, and you will unlock a new. If you can form a relationship with Rashford and maybe Anthony and Fernandes, I can see them improving. So a striker is the position for Manchester United. For Newcastle, they have 2 strikers. They have Callum Wilson and they have Isaac. I think what they need is a creative 10, a number 10, a creative attacking midfielder, a player whose job it is to solely feed this maverick kind of player, a player who can feed the strikers, who can score goals, and a player like James Maddison. Okay, those classic 10 who can receive the ball, spin, dictate play, not necessarily dictate play to that extent, but can play those needle passes, free kicks, set pieces, and the rest. Those kind of players. James Maddison is a perfect player for them, a player who is the number 10 who can feed those strikers. So they are not just reliant on high pressing or set pieces. Okay, or because most of their creativity comes from the wings. Okay, if it's from the delivery of Trippier or the hustle and bustle of Jolinton and the rest, when they are very physical. This will give them a new dimension, a more subtle, silky play in the center of the field. So that's what Newcastle need. For my beloved club, Liverpool, see, I don't have any issues. We have so many problems, but if I were to prioritize, we need a midfielder. And not just a midfielder who can play as a 6 and as an 8. Okay, an adaptable midfielder who is combative, who is strong, who is powerful. We've signed McAllister, wonderful. But we need a combative player who is strong, who is powerful, who can defend, who can run, who can cover, who can bring back the energy levels, bring the youthfulness back into our side. Okay, a long-term replacement for Henderson. A player who can be dynamic, but also play the Fabinho role. We need multiple players, we need midfielders, but if we were to pick that position of midfield, is where we need to reinforce the most. Because Liverpool last season were so soft, so devoid of ideas in midfield. In fact, our best moments came when we were trying to bypass the midfield. We were bypassing the midfield like it's like the Bermuda Triangle. Okay, bypass it, because it was so weak, so flaky, and we cannot afford to start a new season like that. So if I know the club we've been linked to Thuram, we've been linked to Manukune, we've signed McAllister. Okay, so we need to work on that midfield. And then Chelsea. Now, Chelsea's situation is peculiar. They need lots of signing, but I think the position they need the most, the position that Chelsea actually need the most, is a midfielder. Now, people will say they need a striker. They need a striker. Yes, they need a striker, to finish off the chances. But at least they have Amanda Broja. Now, I don't know how he will recover from his injury, but at least they have an option there. Okay. But the midfield I'm talking about is the player who will play alongside Enzo Fernandez. They need a combative midfielder, a box-to-box midfielder. Moises Caicedo is an excellent option to play alongside Enzo Fernandez. They need that because they don't have it. They don't have that traditional defensive midfielder whose job it is to defend. They don't. What they had in those years was Jorginho, who is a deep line playmaker, or Kovacic, who is box-to-box, just there shuffling around. They need somebody, a prime Kante, somebody like Kante who can shuttle around, be that defensive edge, give Enzo the platform for him to express himself. So that's what he needs. For Spurs have been crying out for a creative midfielder for years. Now, if Hurricane, it depends on what Hurricane, if Hurricane leaves or not. If Hurricane stays, they need a creative midfielder. If Hurricane leaves, they need a striker and creative midfielder, because Kane has been both striker and creative midfielder for them. Since Eriksen left, they've not had that creative. They've tried Lo Celso, they've tried to play Dele Alli and the rest. It hasn't really worked out. So they need a creative player who can shoulder the burden of, just like Newcastle, but they need it more than Newcastle. They need a creative player who can just sprinkle magic on them. But if Kane leaves, then they need a striker, and that's the thing. Kane has been both a striker and a playmaker for them. So you see how it goes. So that's it. That's my recommendation for the big teams. I were in charge of their recruitment, what I would do. I want to hear what you would do if you were in charge of your recruitment. What would you do at Liverpool? What position would you strengthen at Chelsea? What position would you strengthen at Man City? Is Man City, are they so big they don't need any improvement? Arsenal, do you feel like maybe they need a midfielder more than a striker? You let me know in the comment section. For Liverpool, do you feel like we need another defender playing around the left-sided defender more than a midfielder? Chelsea, do you think they need a striker more than a midfielder? Do you think they have players who can play that position, but they really need an established striker? Let me know in the comments below. Once again, it's been a pleasure ranting at you and giving you this information. Thanks for listening. Have a blessed day and see you in the next video. Gracias.